यस्य चित्तं द्रवीभूतं कृपया सर्वजन्तुषु तस्य ज्ञानेन मोक्षेण किं जटाभस्मलेपनैः. The meaning of this Subhashita is the one whose heart melts with compassion for all beings, sarvajantushu. For such a person, where is the need to attain jnana or moksha, or to apply bhasma on the body and tie up his matted hair in locks? The idea is that compassion for all beings is considered as the supreme most expression of spirituality. Compassion for a few people or those who belong to you or those whom you belong to, that's a natural tendency for all. That's truly not compassion at all. That's an obligation, a duty towards those who belong to you or whom you belong to. But having an unconditional way of expressing compassion for all beings, whoever they might be, from the smallest ant to all creatures and human beings of all races, religions, of all nationalities, of all social or economic sections of the society, to have unconditional compassion is basic, fundamental spiritual principle. Now, it is as simple as that. You don't have to mug up the scriptures, you don't have to perform complicated yagas and yajnas, you don't have to undertake rigorous austerities or very difficult pilgrimages. None of this is necessary. Where you are, as you are, however you are, if you can develop unconditional compassion for all beings, then you are spiritual then and there. And you don't need to exhibit it through other so-called traditional ways of looking spiritual, growing a beard, having a long hair, and all kinds of malas and things like that. None of these is required. The idea of kripaya, the compassion, daya, we say hrudaya, hrud plus daya is hrudaya. That which is filled with compassion alone is a true heart. The one which pumps blood, that's only a physical heart, that's a biological heart. But in our scriptures, heart is not just the physical entity. The very core of our existence is called our heart. Like the heart of the city, we say. It's truly not a city with a heart that beats, but it simply means the very core of the city, the very center of the city is the city's heart. Likewise, the very center of our existential reality is our heart, which is to be the one which is filled with compassion. And this compassion is what is lacking in the world today. Not really the compassion part of it, but actionable compassion is what is lacking. We all feel bad when we pass by a road where somebody is begging or crying or for help. We look at them, we do think, oh, how sad that is, that the people are suffering this way or that way. We all know the problems, we all understand the problems, but very few take it upon themselves to do something about it. And to be able to do something about it is a true test of spirituality. Thus, we are all capable of compassion, but we are incapable of actioning that compassion, and that is where the gap lies. So all this, our Narasimhamurthy sir is saying, what is this mission is all about, which allows you to study here or do whatever you are doing here. It's all about helping you action your compassion. All of us are good people only. Nobody is bad. Nobody sees somebody in sorrow and feels nothing about it. No, everybody feels bad about it. But in their capacity, they don't have the ability to do something about it. And that is where the ball stops rolling, and that is where all your compassion ends. And then it never creates any impact, any difference to the lives of those who are actually suffering. So doing something about your compassion, the feeling that you have in your heart, is the very gift of education. All the skills, knowledge, all the resources, all your abilities should ultimately lead you to action your compassion. Vidya dadati vinayam, vinayadhyati patratvam, patratvat dharmapnoti, tanat dharmam tata sukham. We all know this by heart. From all your education, vidya, not just the academic education, all kinds of knowledge, skills, whatever you gain in this world, what should happen to you? You should become a humble person. Why? Because you have got an opportunity to gain such knowledge which so many people don't have. Second, you have been able to understand whatever has been taught to you, have been able to assimilate that. Not everybody is capable of understanding everything. So you have that intellectual capacity to do that. So again, you have to thank your fortune. Again, with that, you are able to do something. You're able to use your knowledge and skills to make a difference to yourself, to your family, community, society at large. So all these are blessings. Therefore, you should become humble. And this blessing is not given to everybody. After COVID, at least 50, 60 million children have never come back to the schools around the world. They've gone to labor in the fields or work in different places, and they've never come back. So you are fortunate because you have an opportunity to get that kind of education. And what kind of education? Not that one academic run-of-the-mill education, but look at all these students are going to Chennai to perform in the Magari festival. It is considered as one of the important festivals, music and art festivals in India. So they are only musicians, they are only capable of music or dance. But if this opportunity is not there, we would have lost a good musician and a good dancer, and probably got a bad engineer or a doctor in the process. That's what happens most of the time. But this opportunity helps you gain that education, that vidya. Not just the basic academic or whatever skill education, but also spiritual education, which helps you get a perspective, develop a vision for your life, have a purpose. So that's very important. You all know Paravidya from our system. But that should make you a humble person, because somebody told me once upon a time, one very great person who had come, said, you know, why these people who are great are very humble? The people of knowledge and so-called lot of achievements, academic achievements are humble, because they alone know how much they do not know yet. Whereas those who are ignorant are always arrogant because they think they know everything. But the real wise people know how much they do not know still, and that's why they're still humble, they don't become arrogant. So Vidya Dadati Vinayam, it should give you that humility. Genuine humility, not fake one. Humility should lead to your deservedness. Deserving, only a humble person is deserving of people's love, people's affection, people's partnerships, collaborations. An egoistic person will never be liked by anybody. You might be very brilliant, but people may just tolerate you, but they will never be able to love you, accept you, or work with you. So how can you be successful? No single man can be successful by himself. You need everybody's help. We stand on many shoulders in our lives. So that kind of affection, that kind of camaraderie, that kind of collaboration, friendship, partnerships come to only those who are humble. That's why deservedness is the gift of being humble. And from deservedness, when you deserve all the opportunities, all the help from the society, then what do? From that, dharma apnoti. You should be able to gain wealth. And wealth is not just material resources in terms of money. It is also, wealth is good friends you have in the society, you have good name, you have a good influence, you are able to do something with your abilities. All this is your wealth. You have created value in the society. Value creation is true dharma apnoti. But what do you do with that? Dhana dharmam, he says. And tata sukham. From dhana means whatever you earn based on your skills, abilities, whatever value you have created in the society, you should be able to do dharma. And what is dharma? Doing the right thing is dharma. Being a doctor, you have an obligation to do the right thing. You can also make more money by doing whatever wrong things that you can, because the innocent, ignorant, gullible patient is dependent on you. And he or she may not understand what you are saying, but if you don't give the right advice, you use it wrongly, you can always make a little more money on the patient, but then that's not the right thing to do. Your dhana or whatever you are earned is not being used correctly, it's not being earned righteously. So dharma should guide the dhana. Both the earning and the spending of dhana should be guided by dharma, which is the right thing to do. And what is the right thing to do? I always say, if you can help somebody, if you can make somebody's life better, if you can improve somebody else's fortunes with your capacities, that is the right thing to do. Help somebody, that is the right thing to do. Paropakaraya punyaya papaya parapidanam. To do some good is the right thing to do. Once you do the right thing, you will attain happiness. You may think if you do something for the others, the other person should attain happiness. He was hungry, I fed him, now he is happy. He was uneducated, I educated him, he should be happy. He was unemployed, I employed him, should become happy. Or whatever, he was unhealthy, we gave him health, he should become happy. No, our scripture says whether that person becomes happy or not is the second thing. First thing, you will attain happiness by doing this for them. So what is the secret of happiness that we all run behind? Dhanat dharmam tata sukham. All that you have attained through your education, through your skills, through your resources, whatever you have gained in life, should help you to do good to society, and through that good, you will attain happiness. This is the secret. Now, most of the people think dhanat sukham, dharmam they want to not include in the equation. Vidya dadati vinayam, that also doesn't happen most of the time. Vinaya dati patratvam, patratva dharmapnoti, dhanat sukham they think. From the wealth we will attain happiness. And they miss the dharma part of it, that no, the wealth is to be utilized to do good. Through that good only you attain happiness. This is very clear in our scriptures. So how to be happy? Do good. Do good to everyone. What kind of good? Unconditional good. Not with conditions. If you think you can get something out of somebody, then only you will do good to them. That good is no good at all. That's a transaction. That's a business. Maybe with profit or loss. But that's a business. But the idea of our spirituality is that melting with compassion for those who are incapable of doing anything for us, even for them when we go out and do without expectations, that is true dharma. And that dharma only leads to sukha. What kind of sukha? Eternal sukha, permanent sukha. Not temporary, which comes with eating good food and then again you are hungry, again you want to eat to become happy. So this is impermanent happiness. But that which you have done unconditionally, selflessly for others, the joy of it remains with you, it lingers with you forever. But that has to be tasted to be understood. Most of the people have never even tried it, so how will they know what is the taste of it? When I go to these different countries, they bring different kinds of fruits and give me. From dragon fruit to rambutan to all kinds of things. Because they say, you haven't tasted it, you taste it and see. If they explain to me, it tastes like this, it tastes like a pineapple, or tastes like guava, or tastes like a pear, I may imagine, but I will not understand what it truly tastes like. Once I really taste, I know this is how it is. Anubhava. So only when you do good, the joy that comes out of doing good, that alone will give you the real experience that doing good truly makes you happy and joyful. And the quality of that happiness is of a superior kind. Again, every mind is not capable of experiencing that happiness. Like a fever-stricken tongue cannot understand the taste of sweet. Even if you put a little sweet on that tongue, it will taste bitter to the person because the person is sick. Likewise, very, very worldly people who are always running behind only material things, they can never understand the joy of spirituality. For that, some purification is required, some humility is required, some goodness is required. But are we as individuals capable of doing that good on our own? Maybe for a day, 2 or 10 days. After that, we go back to our basic instincts of survival and self-preservation. Then we don't want to do more good. But if we are in the company of good people, in a place like this, in an environment like this, with lot many people around you doing the same kind of good, it encourages you to do more good and experience that joy. And slowly that selfishness, which is the fever that spoils your taste of the tongue, it slowly goes away. And then selfless love that starts flowing helps you understand the joy of doing good. Why should anybody do? The other day also I mentioned, all work is love made visible. Love is intangible, but you can make it visible, make it tangible by expressing it through your compassionate actions. So all love can be understood only if it is actioned upon. Simply saying we love is not enough. It has to translate into service. So this is the basic whole mission all about, to make your compassion, your goodness, your love in your heart become visible in the form of doing good to others. And why should you do that? For your own happiness. So antasya sukhaya, for your own internal joy, not for the sake of impressing anybody or trying to attain anything out of it. It is simply because that makes you feel joyful, so you do it. It's as simple as that. Now, who does not want to be happy, you tell me, in this world? Everybody wants to be happy. But the standards or the definitions or parameters of happiness is wrongly defined. Yes, basic food, when you're hungry, it is the first source of happiness. If you have eaten, you are comfortable, you are basically happy. Then you have no education, you get an education. These are all lower happinesses only. But ultimate joy that comes from doing good, that joy remains forever. And that is the joy I want everybody to taste. At least taste it so that you know this is how it tastes. Then it's up to you whether you want to taste it again. This is the idea. Continuously remind each other, ourselves, that we are here only to do good. What kind of good? Unconditional good, unselfish good. And that good alone will give us the joy of living. Other people become joyful? Yes, they will eventually. But the first person to experience joy out of doing good is us. So, for whose sake are we doing good? Don't give me that I'm doing because those people are poor, they are hungry, okay, they are. But you are doing good because you feel happy doing good. That's the reason you should do good. And if you're not able to feel happiness in doing good, it means you have not understood your good is not unconditional. Conditional good does not give you the happiness. That happiness is not permanent. Because there are expectations behind that conditional good, and when those are not fulfilled, then that good becomes painful. But when you do it unconditionally, that joy remains forever. And that joy, if everybody experiences in their lives, at least once, I'm very sure that they would like to come back to experience it again and again, more and more. This is the opportunity. So all these people I meet around the world, they are noble people only. They are good people only. They all understand the problems. They all want to do something about it. But are they really doing something about it? No. Why are they not doing something about it? Not enough motivation, not enough support, not enough encouragement, not enough courage, not enough conviction. Whichever way they're not able to. But in a system like this, it becomes natural tendency to develop that kind of a courage, that kind of commitment, that kind of encouragement is provided. So it becomes a spontaneous act. You don't have to even think that you are trying to do good. Do good happens. Somebody told the other day, this is the place where you get paid to do good. Do good on your own, that is up to you. Do good and get paid. Where else you get this opportunity? This is the institution that gives you that kind of opportunity, and that's what people appreciate, because everybody wants to do good, but they have their own issues, they have their own baggages, they have their own constraints because of which they are unable to do that. I'm not blaming them or I'm not pinpointing. I'm simply saying that it's unfortunate that they are not able to action their compassion. But if you join hands, it can happen. Sangho Shakti Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga, individuals cannot prosper on their own. It has to be a collective effort, especially in spiritual side. So when you come together as a group, it is much easier to follow all the principles that we keep learning about. Individually, only some people have the courage and the strength of the soul to do what they've got to do, especially doing unconditional good. But as a group, it's much, much easier to do it. So I always go and tell people, join hands. Individually, you cannot do it. God has made us incapable or insufficient by ourselves. It's by design that the world has been created so-called unequal, so that some of us have the opportunity to do good and gain the joy out of it. That is the reason, and we should grab it with both the hands, because this is our opportunity to do good. And we have never ever regretted or met with some kind of a disappointment by doing good. Doing good has always led to more prosperity. One question they always ask me is, how do you face all the challenges that come running these large organizations? How did you scale up so fast? How did you get the right kind of people in a home? 4 people cannot come to a consensus on one thing, and here thousands of them work together. How is it possible? And I told, because everybody is driven by that passion to do good. Everybody has that in their heart that we all are here to do good. Unfortunately, before joining here, they were not able to do that which they were born to do. Coming together here gives them the courage, gives them the strength. And that's how they're able to express themselves. I'm not doing anything special to anybody. I've just given a platform where they can express themselves. They can action their compassion. That is all we have done. So right kind of people join because they're attracted by the good that is being done, and it is in them also to do good, but just that they did not have the necessary wherewithal, also whatever the abilities or courage to do that. When they see so many people doing it together, it becomes very easy. So this is the process. And if you can action your compassion, I think you have achieved whatever the spirituality that we all talk about. So make yourself capable of expressing your compassion into action. If you can do that with your courage and conviction, you have attained everything. You don't need anything. That's why tasya jnanena mokshena kim jatavasma lepnahi. Why such a person needs to be a jnani? Why such a person needs to attain moksha? Why such a person needs to apply vibhuti and do all kinds of austerities? Not necessary, the scripture says. Just be good and show compassion to everyone unconditionally. You are spiritual. So when the Gen Z, whatever we call the next generation, which is wary of temples and traditions, they catch hold of me and ask me, Swamiji, we don't like all this. How do we become spiritual? I said, you are spiritual if you have compassion. Even if you don't believe in a particular god, a particular ritual, a particular temple, don't worry. If you believe, even better. But if you don't believe it, even if you are good, you are beginning to walk on this path of spirituality. You have already made a beginning. But eventually you will realize that all this goodness is not possible without God's grace. So you will find that truth for yourself sooner or later as you keep walking. Maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after. But begin somewhere and begin with doing good. And how can you do good? Do good to each other here. Be kind to each other, be compassionate, be generous in times of your time and your energy. Help each other, even in classrooms I tell. Please help each other, not in examination hall, before that. Nobody comes and tells I was just doing good in the examination hall. That good is no good, that is against Dharma. Good has to be guided by the Dharma of the place. Likewise, do good wherever you can. Help each other in terms of getting this. How many students are there, come from weaker background. Devotees are there, they are very new, they don't understand many of the things. So the older ones have the responsibility to help the new ones. Because you have received so much of time and attention which the next generation is not going to have it. I feel very bad sometimes. I hardly get to meet now devotees in smaller groups or even students. It's not possible. It's gone to another zone, another level. And now the world needs this attention and guidance. So obviously the attention back home has become lesser. But then it is the responsibility of the older children to look after the younger ones, or the older devotees and followers to take care of the younger ones. And that's the good that you can still do without having to spend a penny, because that is possible for you. That is your dhana, that is your wealth of all your experiences, all the understanding that you have, all the things that you have gained in the last couple of years. Share it with others. That day is going to come with thousands of people unknown. Already it is happening. On an average, I meet at least 15, 20 people every day, if I average it out over the year, who are new people. They're meeting us for the first time. They're coming here for the first time. They're not devotees. They're not so-called our acquaintances. They're just new people have somehow found out about us. They want to work with us, and we keep meeting them. So there are good people in the world. And the one thing that I observe about all these people who come here is they feel very comforted and encouraged that with us they will be able to do all that good that they have always been planning to do, but they could not. When they come here, they feel with this organization, with these group people, we will be able to do whatever we had thought we should be doing, but they could not do it. Why? This kind of system, this kind of platform wasn't available to them. So that is why I keep reminding that you don't have to do much in the path of spirituality. Whether you will attain that Atma Sakshatkara, whether Ananda will follow, whether you will have all that universal oneness or whatever the experience of it, yes, all that will follow. All that will follow a pure heart. All that will follow a heart that melts with compassion. It is a natural outcome of all that. Because it's not coming from somewhere, it is within us, right? But it is covered with layers and layers of selfishness and all that. Once you start removing it because you are showing that compassion, automatically you will get all the experiences. Or that compassion itself will give you all the spiritual experiences that you crave for. So today's spirituality is actionable compassion. If you can all exhibit that in your daily lives in small and big ways, you are becoming spiritual. Whether you are an atheist today or you are a theist or whatever you are whichever philosophy you follow, sooner or later at the end of the road you will come to the same truth, same conclusion. That yes, God exists, and God exists as pure love and compassion for all beings, and He is the motivator, He is the guide, He is the driver of all goodness in the world. You will come to that conclusion sooner or later. Many people ask, I don't believe in God, but can I still be a good person? I said yes, but eventually you'll realize that you are a good person only because of God. That will be, you start from this way or that way, you'll reach the same point. So you will realize that, everybody will realize that. So begin somewhere, and the easier way to do is to show compassion to all beings. I was in Sringeri and Vivishekar Bharati Swamiji was there. We generally have a very good relation with Sringeri Sharada Peetham, and not so much for the individuals, but for the institution that it is established by Sri Adi Shankaracharya, this very first Peetham, and it has an unbroken parampara of 1200 plus years. And never it has happened that the seat was empty. Always the Jagadguru was occupying, whereas in other Peethas, because of invasions, especially the northern side Peethas, there were gaps in the continuity. But here it was never so. It was always a continuation of all the Swamijis or Gurus in that parampara. So that is why I respect, and I have a lot of personal as well as as an institution, we honor them, we respect them. So I'd gone there, and then he was mentioning about one small booklet he gave me, and they're all one-line answers that Adi Shankara has given to the questions. This is Adi Shankara's format of teaching. He'll ask a question, he'll predict a question, and he'll answer it for the questioner. So he's only the questioner, but that is how he has written the scriptures. Imagine today we talk about Q&A formats and all. It was all there in the Upanishads, and Sri Adi Shankara's whole teaching is like that. Even Bhashyas, if you read about anything, there will be a question, and then there will be a counter answer, and then there will be a counter question, then there will be an answer. This is how he has taught and clarified the doubts. He even has guessed what the aspirant would ask, what the sadhaka may ask. And sometimes we may not be capable of even thinking in those directions or dimensions. But Adi Shankara has predicted that also and answered. So here he asks, I don't remember the Sanskrit of it, but the essence of it is, it's something kutra yatnam yatatam vidhe or something like that. Where should we put efforts? Sadhaka is asking. In what field should we put efforts? And Adi Shankara replies only in 3 words. One is Vidyabhyasena in the field of education, then Arogya in the field of healthcare, and Dana in doing charity. These are the 3 areas you should put efforts. Imagine 1200 years ago, Adi Shankara had told education, health, Dana means you can think of Annadana, nutrition, are the requirements where one should put efforts. I was pleasantly surprised by what Swamiji told me. So this has been the fundamental philosophy of our scriptures and spirituality. Sri Adi Shankaracharya thinking that these are the areas where one should work in the field of society. So this Jagat Guru pointed this out to me and gave me the booklet and said that you are exactly doing what Sri Adi Shankara has recommended. That you must put efforts in the field of giving education, giving aushadha, giving healthcare, and also giving dana. Dana means whatever you can do, charity you can do. So I was comparing that and seeing that is it not then divinely driven, because that divine only has inspired Adi Shankara to say what he has said. So these 3 areas that is why very important. And in these 3 also the most important is education only. Because vidya vihinam pashubhis samana. You can be fed, you can be healthy, but what is the use if you are selfish? You will live like an animal if you don't know the knowledge or the dharma. So this is why education becomes a core philosophy of our work, and that becomes the only solution to all the problems in the world. A developed economy, a prosperous Bharat, a spiritual Bharat, a global peace in the world, all this is possible only when individuals are right. And how do you make individuals do the right thing? By educating them, not just the academic education. When I say education, it's not just the degrees that you get, it's simply the character that you build through all the knowledge that you gain and assimilate. It is that education that we are talking about. Unfortunately, schools and colleges don't do that because they have become commercial. If Vidya and Arushada was given as dana, then obviously there will be good people in the society. And that is the reason why we are doing what we are doing. It's good to have an understanding of what we do, because you all are messengers of this mission in your own way. And you will meet people in your lives who will ask these questions to you. Why this? Why not this? How it should be done like this? Why it should not be done another way? You should have answers for all this. You should have clarity for it. That clarity will come only if you have put some thought into it, and not just being a passive recipients or observers of the mission, but you're active participants. Then only you will understand this. Because by experience alone you will attain the true knowledge. You have to live this idea. And that is what you should do as students, staff, or whoever you are, devotees, followers. You must assimilate this great understanding of why we do what we are doing. And as I said, above everything else, it is for your own joy. It is for your own happiness that you should do. People will get benefited in the process, yes. But that's actually I would say, the side effects or the additional gain out of it. The real gain is your own personal happiness, your own joy, your own spiritual evolution. So do it for that sake only. And so this does not allow us to develop some kind of a superior or arrogant feeling that we are doing something for somebody. No. We are doing it for our own joy. In the process, somebody else is also getting benefited. This is how we have to develop the attitude, and that will keep us humble all the time. One thing they always say is that such a huge organization, how come everybody is so humble when we come to the ashram? Everybody is so sweet. There is not an iota of ego and arrogance. That's because we are all doing it for our own sake. In a way, it is selfish, a good kind of selfishness. So where is the question of us thinking we are doing something for somebody and feel, good about it. Not possible. That bhoktrutva bhava is not possible because kartrutva bhava is not possible here. So you have to develop these basic understandings of what we do. Above all, Bhagavan used to say, Daya cheta dhanyulaka avalara. You should become dhanyas means fulfilled, or people who have attained fulfillment in life only through daya. You grow a beard, you go to different temples, you roam around the whole world like a sannyasi, you go to the forest and do penance. None of this will make you a man of fulfillment. Daya cheta. Only with compassion you will attain fulfillment, he would say. That's what we are saying all the time. Do show daya. Don't hold back your compassion. When compassion floods your heart, let it break it and open the gates, floodgates of compassion in your heart, and let it flow. Don't restrain it out of the fear of your survival, out of your selfish ideas, out of all kinds of anxieties. No. It's a blessing that your heart is having compassion, not a dry stone in that place. That compassion is God's gift. Don't waste it. Don't waste it by not allowing it to flow, by restricting it, by containing it. Don't do that. Just allow it to flow freely. And you will feel the joy in that compassion which gets action and impacts and transforms lives. That is the core of our philosophy. Everybody should practice this.